rich. We've been dating for over a year now, and I think it's about time people met my beautiful
So
girlfriend.
your family is rich?
We're comfortable.
That is exactly what a super rich person would say.
The Nick you're dating is Nick Young?
Yeah, you guys know them or something?
Hells yeah. They're just the biggest developers in all of Singapore.
Damn, Rachel. It's like the Asian Bachelor. These people aren't just rich. They're crazy rich.
Now, you really should have told me that you're like the Prince William of Asia.
That's ridiculous. Much more of a Harry.
You will never be enough.
Yo, it's about time someone stood up to Auntie Eleanor. Well, you, not me. Oh, God.
If Nick chose me, he would lose his family. And if he chose his family, he might spend the rest of his life resenting you.
Hello and welcome to the Martini Scale, where we talk movies over martinis and provide our perspective on what is and isn't worth watching. We are three friends who all love film, so the goal of the show isn't to critique every detail, but to give you an honest perspective of what our experience was like when watching something, and perhaps more importantly, how drunk you might need to be to enjoy it. I'm Sean.
I'm Natalie.
And I'm Lena.
And today we are discussing
Crazy Rich Asians.
And just a heads up, there will be spoilers, so if you have not seen the film yet, you should either watch the film before listening or disregard the fact that you're going to care. Natalie?
Like, I'm hoping that maybe we're helping people decide to actually watch a movie that they've been holding off watching. Yeah. You know, and maybe you don't care about spoiler alerts.
I feel like it's so hard to avoid spoilers.
I feel like something like this, Crazy Rich Asians, there's not a lot to spoil. It's kind of, we all know they're together.
It's a romantic comedy. They get together. Something happens that tries to break them up, and then they end up together. Oh, shit, I just said
Spoiled it. But, like, it's okay. Like, A Star is Born. Something happens.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to spoil that. But this, I feel like, that's everyone, it's pretty on the
That's fair.
schedule of romantic
how
comedy.
this goes. Exactly.
Yeah. Natalie, what are we drinking today?
Ooh, well, I wanted to think about what I would want to drink whilst watching Crazy Rich Asians. And I thought a Mandarin martini would be the perfect fit for it. So that is what we are drinking tonight.
It's quite the fit. It's quite delicious, actually.
Yeah, do you like it?
This might be the best martini you've made so far.
Ooh. So I just want to say, I know it's not related to movies at all.
I did like the blueberry one, though. I love
like
blueberries.
That one.
The blueberry cucumber?
Cucumber. He doesn't like
but you don't like cucumbers, that's why.
So my brother got me for Christmas a cocktail making class.
Are we giving a shout out to Vinny?
No, we're not. I said my brother. I was going to give him a name. So he got me a cocktail making class.
Do we know if he's listened to the show yet?
No, I'm sure he hasn't. I'm sure he won't listen to this.
No.
So we got me a cocktail making class. So
don't
even... cocktail making class. Mm-hmm. So I'm really excited to hopefully bring in that new information I'm going to learn in this class and make you guys new fresh drinks, because I feel like I've already went through all the martinis I know how to make.
You've already gone through the ones I've
gone through all those already. Because I do like to do a new one for each episode.
Yeah, when do you start this class?
I just have to decide. So soon.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
I'm excited to learn more.
Yeah,
about
I'm really excited.
Fun. It's really, really fun.
And he got me a cute little gold cocktail set. And
the cocktail set is very nice, I will say.
Isn't it nice?
I did see that.
I love it.
A gold microphone.
I know. Everything's gold.
Everything. Gold. Okay.
I think, but that fits the theme, I think, of Crazy Rich Asians.
Gold everything.
Yeah.
Have we talked about Natalie's gold microphone yet on the show?
Yes. Several times.
I'm never going to live this down.
Never know this down.
The font in the poster for Crazy Rich Asians is also gold. So I appreciate that they appreciate gold.
Yes, you and the Trumps do as well.
Okay.
Crazy Rich Asians is a 2018 American romantic comedy drama film directed by John M. Chu. That's interesting. That's his last name. I didn't know that. Rachel Chu.
John Chu.
Mm-hmm.
It's based on the 2013 novel of the same name by Kevin Kwan. The film stars Constance Wu, Henry Golding, Gemma Chan, Nico Santos, Lisa Liu, and Aquafina. It follows an American professor who travels to meet her boyfriend's family and is surprised to discover they are among the richest in Singapore. I'm excited to dive into this today. Natalie, do you want to give us some trivia before we get started, or should we wait?
One thing I just thought was super fun to learn was that Netflix was really interested in producing the film and offered a much, much, much bigger budget. But Kevin Kwan deliberately turned down the offer in favor of a modest which is a modest budget of $30 million from Warner Brothers. This was done to send a message that American studio movies are commercially viable. So I think that that's an important message.
Huge.
That he chose to do this on a bigger scale as far as like who's putting the money behind it versus taking more money to make a bigger movie.
And I think also having that theatrical release makes something more special for yourself. It's these books you wrote, it's the story that you have, and like you want, I mean, not that everyone
you
on
get more
Netflix,
exposure
but
to
you
a
just,
mainstream
yeah,
audience.
it's just a much more of like that filmmaking experience, and then getting to go on a red carpet, and it's playing in a theater, and everyone's buying tickets to go see it instead of just
I
a
personally
monthly...
am so glad this was released theatrically,
Yes,
because
me
it's
too.
Me too.
Yeah, it needed that for
But
sure.
it was funny when I was watching it, I was like, what on earth was the budget? Because it looked so
Rich.
spectacular.
Yeah.
So when I learned this, I was like, this is crazy
This
that
is
this
the
is all
true
that it's
number.
I don't know if it's the true number. It doesn't seem realistic.
I don't
but
think so.
What did they say it was made?
30 million.
30?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that seems really low.
Like, it's the whole wedding scene is 30
I
million.
know. I don't
Anyways.
understand.
I don't know.
I have a couple of pieces of trivia. There's actually, doing research for this, I actually found a ton of stuff that I thought was
Me
really
too.
interesting.
Okay.
One of the things, although she initially auditioned for the role of Rachel in mid-2016, Constance Wu could not accept due to a conflict with her work on, I guess she was on a TV show called Fresh Off the Boat, which I've never seen, but apparently it's really fun. I think
I've
it's on
seen
ABC.
a couple of them.
However, she wrote a note to John Chu, the director, explaining her connection to Rachel's character and convinced him to push back production for 4 months, which I think that's kind of crazy that an actor that doesn't really have that much clout yet can like do something like that. He must have really wanted her for this role. I can't see anyone else in this role, so I'm glad that like the cast seemed like it worked out really well.
Yeah.
I think that's cool. It's really cute. Her notes, they posted a copy of her note which said, "Dates are dates and those are immovable. I understand. But I would put all of my heart, hope, humor, and courage into this role. What this could do means so much to me. It's why I advocate so much for young Asian American girls, so they might not spend their life feeling small or being commanded to feel grateful to even be at the table." I think, and I know we'll get into some of this later in terms of like the cultural dynamic and everything, but I think that's a really cool note, and I think that her wanting to be such a part of this and her passion behind that, I think speaks to, I think it translated very well in her performance, and so I thought that was a cool piece of trivia. Another thing that I thought was really cool is that this is Henry Golding's first acting role. Now I think he probably did a lot of things around the same time that are starting to come out now, but I think that's pretty cool. Was that your trivia?
Yeah, he actually was he was a host of a travel show on the BBC. And I think Discovery Channel Asia. And John Chu stalked him on social media. Because
Good job,
I think
John Chu.
Some accountant or somebody he knew was telling him there's this very handsome man who hosts this travel show. You need to like talk to this guy. And so I think Henry actually was like, no, you need someone who's talented and like I can't do this. Excuse me. But so finally I guess he went in to meet him, cut his honeymoon short to come in and do the reading or audition with John Chu.
Wow.
I'm sure he's had a nice vacation with his wife since then, so I don't feel too bad.
Well, he's busy now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He should be.
Yeah.
You had another piece of trivia that I thought was interesting.
Yeah, I love this trivia because Michelle Yeoh, I feel like I say that right. She wasn't very impressed with the ring that was supposed to be in the movie.
I did hear about
so
this.
She used her own emerald ring as the big ring in the movie, plus several other pieces. Like she has a huge collection apparently, and a lot of she just decided to like, nope, we need to have other things. That's why I'm like, oh, maybe that's why the budget was $30 million, because they didn't have to
Other people
rent
were bringing.
She used her own stuff.
That's crazy.
That's cool.
Yeah. I love that piece. She's like, no, we're going to use mine. It's very
better.
Asian mother.
Yeah.
It's very much.
On brand.
All right, ladies, let's dive into some of our favorite scenes and what we thought worked. Natalie?
I think the most impactful scene for me was when they're at the wedding and Nick is at the altar. The bride is coming down the aisle. The whole thing is spectacular. It's gorgeous. It's hard to not get lost in the spectacle of where they're at, but the connection between Nick and Rachel when they look at each other and they mouth "I love you" to each other, and they're just both so emotional, and I'm like, oh my god, I love you too. Like, I felt it. Like, I got chills, and like I've got goosebumps now. Like, it was just like a very powerful moment that, like, despite all of the obstacles that they're already going through, despite the obstacles they know are going to be ahead of them, in that moment it was pure love between the two of them. So that was the best moment in the movie for me.
What did you think? Let's kind of segue into like also what worked well while you're on the topic.
To me, what worked well was just the idea that it was a studio commercial movie. Like, to me, I was so excited that people are talking about diversity in a real way and actually putting money where their mouth is. And I think that that's really important because people will talk about this stuff. They'll talk about female filmmakers, all of this kind of, but then they actually won't do anything about it.
Yeah.
So I loved that it's actually people putting this forward and supporting a movie, marketing a movie that is completely an entire Asian cast that I don't think I've ever seen that before. So to me,
I think the Joy Luck Club, which was released back in the 90s, I think that was like the most recent theatrical release that was like, you know,
Memoirs of a Geisha.
When was that?
2000 something.
Okay.
That's got to be the early 2000s.
Yeah. Anyway, point being, there've been
one
very few.
every 10 years, I don't think is sufficient.
Well, no, I mean, there's been like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and all. There's all these, but
but those aren't really like mainstream.
But
like,
I like the idea.
Are they not mainstream because they're Asian, or
no? I think
because
content.
that was a
I would say like the subject content. I don't Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Like that's not something I would go see regardless of who was in it. Like
right.
You know what I mean?
Like the fact that it's a romantic comedy that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, that is more relatable.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Lena, what were some of your favorite scenes? What do you think worked? You've got a long list here.
I do. I think my favorite is when Awkwafina, she's like, oh, they realize Nick Young is the big, rich, young family. And she's like, you can't go dressed like that. And she dresses her up, blah, blah, blah. And she's driving her to the party. And she's got this fancy Audi. And she gets, Rachel gets out and meets Nick because he comes to the door to let her out. And then Awkwafina's just like, Rachel. And so she's like, oh, this is my friend, blah, blah, blah. And so he's like, oh, no, come join the party. And she's like, no, I can't. So she gets out of the car. She's like, all right. And then she gets out and she opens her trunk. She's got all these different, like, clothes. But my favorite part is when she gets in the mansion and she starts walking up the stairs and she's, like, taking selfies of herself. just so excited to be there. I thought it was hysterical. I love her.
She was so fun in that movie.
She's so fun.
And it's one of those things, I was so surprised watching that scene. And it's funny because my dad always taught me, like, oh, like if somebody offers to do something for you, like that's just like beyond like you say no at least twice, and the third time you can accept it. Like they obviously want to give this to you. And so I was like, when she said no, I was like, I know she wants to go to this thing. I can't believe she said no. And then I think he offered one more time, and she was like, no, that's okay. Like, it's fine. And then he said it a third time, and I was like, oh, I get it. I get why she's waiting.
Yeah. And then just another, a quick one before I get to my other favorite. It's just when he's in bed and they're in the hotel room, and he like gets up, and I guess he has to go do something with the bachelor party. Oh, and she's like, oh, hubba. Oh, yeah. I just thought that was really cute. Cute. One of my favorite scenes is when Astrid leaves Michael at the end after their whole thing. And he starts saying something and she goes, stop talking. And I was like, oh my goodness, what is she about to say to him? And then basically she's like, I have 14 apartment buildings. I'm leaving. I'll go live in one of those. You can live here. And she tells him that it's not just his fault for things not working out. He says that. And she goes, she knows. She calls him a coward. And then it's not her job to make him feel like a man. She says, I can't make you something you're not. Ouch. And I was like, and then she puts those $1.2 million earrings on and strolls out of that bitch. And I was like, you go, girl. Like, screw you. Hello. You are gorgeous. Mm-hmm. You're rich. You are trying everything to make him feel comfortable. And yet this guy still does it. I just
like
don't
she
get
was
it.
constantly hiding and like masking who she was to like tiptoe
To
around
accommodate
his
him.
feelings.
Yeah.
Like he's not even meeting her halfway to try and also live life with her. He's still kind of playing the victim, and I can't live up to this. Then why did you even get into this?
Yeah.
I think that was my...
If you were never going to like really try and be in it.
Like from the beginning, he had to have known what he was getting into, right? Like that's true of every single person that married into this family, allegedly.
Yeah.
Like that's the one thing I didn't really buy. I was like, dude, you knew exactly what you were getting when you signed up for this. So why are you like all these years later? I don't know.
Just, I mean, I get it. Like you're a man and you want to be making the money, but like, it's not like she's making it. They just have the money. This is just how she's grown up.
And again,
like,
you knew that. So to be resentful
Right.
toward that was just strange to me. I something tells me they probably go more in depth in the books in terms of the formation of that relationship. And I actually believe, if I'm not mistaken, though I guess it wouldn't impact his character, but I believe the next movie is about Gemma Chan and her journey.
She is just so stunning. I'm so in love with her.
Same. Do you have other things that you want to just touch upon before we move on? Okay. So my favorite scenes, what works, I think for me personally, this film, something about it in terms of like the production value and that's like the slick, glossy production, which I love.
That was great.
It reminded me of Sex and the City in a lot of ways. There's something about it that just felt like bigger than life. And I loved that because I think when you go to a film, you want to escape. And this film just, to me, just felt like the perfect escape for 2 hours. Like every frame of this film, I was like totally bought into.
Glossy is the perfect word to describe it.
Yeah.
I loved the bachelor party scenes. I just felt they were kind of whimsical and fun to watch. And I also thought they did a really good job, the actors in all of those scenes, especially with the girls, of writing that line between like, if they were over the top catty, like I wouldn't have bought into it, but I felt like they were kind of just catty enough and like bitchy enough to get her to feel bad, but it wasn't so over the top where it was unbelievable. Like you could really see that playing out in that type of situation. Loved the scene with the wedding, just gorgeous start to finish, and the emotion and everything that was involved in that.
But that bitch's dress got wet walking down the aisle.
She changed her dress.
Can we talk about this? Because when the water comes out, the water.
That?
Also, you missed an opportunity to wear beautiful, sparkly shoes.
Yeah.
You're barefoot.
Okay, but the water it's getting on the guests too.
I think it was just in the aisle.
Okay.
I think it was blocked
because they had the grass going down.
Yeah.
Well, it was giving me anxiety for everybody at the wedding. I just want to say.
Nobody signed up for this.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Was it on the invitation?
They gave them all dragonflies to hold, but not
I think it was
booties.
beautiful and like so cinematic, but I literally was like,
because
fucking
the song
and the song that played, I have that in my notes.
The song that played
I'm like,
right
her
when that
feet
happened.
and fucking dress are soaked, and I don't understand.
And she's
who
not like
would choose to do
disoriented
this.
by it at all. She's
No,
just like totally chilling.
I would hope she'd fucking know that this was the plan.
Well, clearly.
Yeah.
I mean, even just thinking about that walking down, like I got chills. It's so beautiful.
Well, that's one of the most beautiful songs anyway, but that version of it, the whole acoustic.
I mean, real life of it is like, really?
No, but again, you're wanting to escape. Like when you watch this kind of scene, you want to just romanticize it. And,
no, absolutely. It's beautiful.
The relationship with the girlfriend and the mom, I really enjoyed watching that play out. Like there were moments where it wasn't quite as predictable as it would typically be in a movie like that. I don't know if that's making sense, but like typically like, okay, they're gonna eventually love each other or whatever. And like I actually felt up until the very end, I actually believed that like this might not ever be. Like they might not actually get along, and that's a new thing in a movie. And so I really enjoyed watching that play out. And then at the end, of course, the payoff with the engagement party, and you see them make eye contact. There was something like everything that they'd worked toward leading up to that moment. It was like such a great payoff for me as an audience member, and I really, really loved it. And again, the music. I thought the music selection was really, really great.
I loved when they did songs that are popular in English and did it in Chinese. Like
totally.
To me, that was like really fantastic. Like I was like,
you've been around nail salons or all these places, but like if you go, that's what they do. Is like those.
It was funny because the start of the movie, and maybe it was because we were in New York at the beginning, but even I felt like we were in Singapore, and they still had popular music that was in English, and I was like, God, I wish they would have taken this opportunity to do
I think
a little bit more.
sometimes it might be hard because of the language. So like the words are longer sometimes. So like trying to fit that word, it doesn't work in the melody. So I think it's just certain ones.
I also want to say, I don't know about you guys, but this made me want to like go to Singapore tomorrow. Like I want to go visit there so badly now after watching
so
this
much
movie.
Anxiety.
Really?
So many people, I can't do it.
Oh, it just looks so gorgeous.
It did look gorgeous.
Yeah.
It looked well, that hotel at the end.
Oh my gosh. And
which is a real hotel.
Yeah.
Well, they showed the hotel in the beginning, like just kind of like scope
That's a really
of,
famous
like,
hotel though.
yeah,
The
it is.
rooftop pool.
in Singapore, and I was like, oh my god, I hope that we get to see inside.
More of this.
I was like, I hope we end there. They keep showing it a little bit in the
Yeah.
skyline, and I hope we get to see it.
Totally.
So I'm really happy they ended there.
I also just loved watching the friendships, the family dynamic. All of the relationships in this film to me were just 100% believable. Like even like the contentious family members, like we all have them. And like, I don't know, there was just something, I just loved this film. I could watch like a 5-hour cut of this film and be totally happy.
Oh yeah, 5 hours of this would be great.
Yeah. So what didn't work well? Is there anything you guys didn't like?
Well, I remember having a very specific thought in my head when this movie started and we meet Rachel in the classroom and Nick comes in. And it's that recognition that we're already fully in this relationship. So I'm not getting to see that meet cute. I'm not getting to see the buildup of their relationship.
Oh, interesting.
And I remember feeling disappointed because I wanted to get into that a little bit.
Huh. That's actually really interesting.
Even though, like, by the time they get on the airplane, I'm 100% bought in that they're a really cute couple and I'm in it. So that's fine. So it's not like it didn't work or I never felt like they were a couple. I did feel like they were a couple, but I just desired to see more of their meeting. So I kind of wanted to see that relationship build up before we got into this.
I feel like you got enough of them interacting individually throughout the rest of the film that, like, ordinarily I would agree with you, but I feel like I saw enough of like their cute like moments together. While we didn't see the meet cute necessarily, I saw enough of their relationship play out on screen that I've bought into. I
liked them so much. I wanted to see more of just them without this portion of. I know that this is obviously a big part of it, and it's interesting when you see romantic comedies back in the day versus romantic comedies now. I feel like audiences have less patience to like build into this. Like you have to get to it right away of what the story is going to be. And we're going to introduce you to the parents, so we're got to do that within the first 10 pages of the script. So it just, to me, I think that had this movie been done in the 90s, it probably would have been at least 15, 20 minutes of like building and learning about the relationship before we got into that.
Speaking of the parents' introduction, I wanted to see more of that house that the mom lived in. You only see it in that one scene where they're outside. She's hosting like the game or the Bible study or whatever that she's hosting. And it's like this indoor-outdoor space that they're in. And then she talks about later about how like the house is being redone or something, so they can't come stay there.
Oh, yeah.
But like, I want more of that house.
Maybe that it needed to be more than $30 million then.
Probably. Damn it, Netflix.
Yeah.
Well, it's true.
You know, that it wasn't a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing to want more of something in a movie. So it's not totally negative, but it just
be at least 3 more of these movies. So maybe more of it will be coming.
I doubt maybe they'll do a flashback of when they met in the intro of their relationship. That'd be kind of fun.
Well, if some of this set in like the past, like if they go, if there's like a prequel one of them, that could be kind of cool.
Yeah.
I mean, my only complaint about the film is something to your point, like that was lacking. I wanted more Gemma Chan. Like,
I know.
I am so obsessed with her. I think that she is gorgeous. She is stunning. She is elegant. She is... I literally
so
could
many
watch
things.
her in every single scene. Like, I love this woman, and I cannot wait to see more of her.
And I'm very excited.
Yeah.
She's beautiful.
What about you, Lena? Anything that didn't work for you?
I guess really the only part I didn't like was the Bachelor or Bachelorette stuff. I mean, the
interesting.
Bachelorette worked a little more because girls are crazy. And I don't know, just the Bachelor party, like them flying out and going on that barge in the middle of the ocean, that was cool. But then when you got there, it was just like half naked girls and the guys are kind of all being like jerks. And
Have you never been to a bachelor party?
no, but it doesn't. But then when Nick just goes with his, oh god, I don't.
And then just
know his
leave, you
name.
mean?
Yeah, they just
Yeah,
go
in the
and then like,
helicopter.
yeah, why can't like some guys do want that? You don't have to blow girls out of a cannon in the middle of the ocean. Like
Every
just
bachelor
like-
party I've ever been to, girls blew out of cannons, so I don't know what you're talking about. Lena.
She didn't blow out of a cannon. She tried to
shoot the t-shirt gun or something, and she got blown off the stage. It was hysterical. I mean, that part was. That part. Oh, go back and watch it. I rewound it several times because I was like, y'all gotta see this.
That's hilarious.
But it was just like, to me, it was just like, and the music was just like, rah, rah, and then I was like, oh yeah, I know why this guy is leaving. I know why Nick wants it, because it was too much.
But I think that was part of the whole subplot with that character. He was eccentric.
He was trying to fit in with all of them.
And so if he was planning it, what else could he have planned that wouldn't have been, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
No, I mean, I get it totally, but it was just like, I didn't need to see it. I didn't need it. Yeah. But that was it.
I feel you.
Everything else worked.
What stood out? Who should we be watching, Natalie?
To me, I'm really excited about Henry. Like, I think Henry as, like, a starring man and, like, normal movies, I think would be really, really exciting. I want to see him in leading roles.
And
like in A Simple Plan?
We did see him in A Simple Plan. Favor.
That is a band.
Go back and listen to the Best of 2018 episode and you'll understand that joke.
Because we're not taking it out.
And I wrote, you know what, in my notes I wrote A Simple Plan. That's not the correct movie. A Simple Favor.
Band.
My gosh. Anyways, I loved seeing him in A Simple Favor, and it's not about like, oh, this is an Asian American film or Asian film. It's just a regular role, leading man role that's played by this guy. Yeah. And I think he's so charming.
So charming.
Oh my God. And let's just talk about how fucking hot he is. Good Lord.
We can talk about that. Would you like to explore that further?
Let's talk about it further.
Let's talk about it.
Oh my gosh. I fancied him.
I actually enjoyed.
You fancied him.
That wasn't clear. Thank you for clarifying.
Okay, great.
You know what's funny? I enjoyed him in A Simple Favor. I didn't love him in that. Like, I definitely want to see him in more stuff. I don't know if that movie was filmed before or after this. I'm guessing maybe after. Since
this is his first movie.
Yeah, but this is his first movie that's released. Like, you know what I mean?
Gotcha.
But like, I don't know. I definitely enjoy him, and I want to see him in a ton more stuff. I can't wait for that. I don't know if it was like the chemistry with Blake Lively versus Anna Kendrick. I didn't love him as much in that film as I did in this. Like, literally, I felt he had great chemistry with everybody that he was opposite. I think for me, what stood out, Gemma Chan. I literally fucking love her. I want to see her in everything. Awkwafina. I'd seen her like in Ocean's 8. Came out prior to this, and I was kind of like indifferent to her, but I just think that she shined in this film, and I really appreciated every scene that she was in. I felt like she added something to, and I think that's the true, like, if you're a great comedic actor, like, you have a purpose in every scene that you're in, and I think that she like killed it in every single scene that she appeared in.
I will say, like, I didn't see this movie right away, and we talked about this in the 2018 recap episode, but it was interesting because Awkwafina was the thing that was talked about, I felt like, the most post-release of this movie.
Oh, really?
And that was the name that I heard over Henry, over everybody else. And she hosted SNL, and
that's true.
Kind of like her career kind of exploded, I feel like, the most out of everybody from this movie.
I would say Henry Golding probably did too in a lot of ways.
Yeah, not as loud.
Just hers was just a little bit more. Yeah. And I was like, is it possible that she's that standout in this movie, that this is the deserved reaction out of this? And I watched the movie and I was like, yep, totally. Like, she was so much. And it's funny, I didn't even recognize or realize that it was her in Ocean's 8. That's how her character was just kind
changed.
I was indifferent to her character. Yeah. It wasn't anything that I was like, oh, I want to pay attention to who this person is because they were so entertaining through this. To me, in Crazy Rich Asians, she was the one that I was like, girl, you are fucking hysterical. Yeah. And
which is interesting because Constance Wu is really good in this, but her performance is almost very subdued. Yeah. So like she kind of flies under the radar. But like I definitely, again, every single person in this film, like I would love to see them again. My only person that I just don't like, and I think it's just his character was annoying, is the brother-in-law.
Oh.
Or not the brother-in-law. Is it the brother or the brother-in-law?
Which one?
The one that's just like annoying the whole fucking time. Not the crazy one that hosts the bachelor party.
Jimmy Yang?
Yes. He's on The Daily Show.
Oh.
The one that takes the pictures very properly.
Yeah, and he's like, we could Hong Kong Vogue. We should have been on the cover of American Vogue if he wore a different dress.
Oh,
like,
I think that's Johnny Ching.
Yeah, like he's funny and I think he's talented. There's something about his, just the way that he comes off on screen that annoys me to some extent. I don't know.
I barely paid attention to his characters.
I mean, he was. Yeah, I think
it was more like a comedic relief, like.
Yeah.
That you
I
just
think
didn't
that
really pay
brother
attention to.
and then the other cousin or brother that was the movie guy who was dating Kitty Pong.
Oh,
and
yeah.
like he was kind of like a jerk, kind of. I don't know.
To me, they were all these like
Yeah,
just comic relief side characters that didn't really have a significance. Whereas like Gemma Chan's storyline was the more significant like B story to the
Well, you talked about Henry Golding being hot. I also think that Michael was very hot.
The guy that played Gemma Chan's husband?
Yeah.
Pierre, he was very attractive.
Pierre Ping, it's PNG. I don't know how to say that.
Yeah.
But he's like 45.
Really?
And he is ripped. And like,
Yeah,
I
he looked
don't
good.
really like rippedness, but like, I thought
He was ripped enough in a way that made him attractive.
Like, he was
it
way
wasn't
more fit than like Henry.
Yeah.
No offense, but Henry is gorgeous. But like this guy, I was like, when he came out of the shower, I was like, oh, hot damn, who's this? And then I was like
rippedness.
I was gonna say, Lena, what's wrong with you?
Well, I don't.
Have you not had enough martinis tonight?
No, she
Do
knows
you like
me.
dad bods?
I do like dad bods.
Weird.
You do?
I do.
You prefer a dad bod over a ripped bod?
Yep.
Wow.
What?
I'm not gonna toss a dad bod out.
I
but
like man-size bodies. So usually when you're ripped, you don't have a lot of fat on you. So you touch it and it's hard.
I guess I do
I
like
don't
the
need it to
steroid
be-
ripped where they're also swollen.
Okay,
But that's a totally different
disgusting.
extreme. That's like
way different. That's muscles.
Lena, we're gonna have to talk about this.
Okay,
after the
well,
show,
I'm just
'cause-
telling you. I like it. I like it to be cozy. I don't want a hard washboard in my when I'm trying to lay on you. Ew.
Interesting.
Sorry.
Weird.
Natalie, is there anything else that stood out for you?
Oh goodness. I mean, I thought Ken Jeong was going to be obnoxious. The start of his character
too.
was I was like, oh god, this is annoying when he was doing the accent and everything, and I was like, oh, this is terrible. And then when he revealed, oh no, I don't have an accent, I'm American as well, and da 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 da, I was like, okay, this is funny. And I thought he ended up being really, really fun.
Especially in the trying on dresses.
Yeah.
And he kept trying to get her to try this one.
Yeah, so to me, that was something that started out as annoying, and I was like, I'm really not going to like this.
Well, because he can be very Ken Jeong.
Yes, exactly.
He can be very same character every time.
Exactly.
And I'm sorry, but the Cal State Fullerton reference was fucking.
That was. I did love that. I thought that was so funny. I thought it was really funny. So to me, I liked how his character ended up just kind of naturally, kind of organically fitting into the storyline, and it ended up working out really nicely. So
yeah.
It was great. I mean, Awkwafina was really, really fun.
Yeah, I loved her
There really
too.
wasn't a lot that I didn't like out of this movie. I enjoyed everything.
Yeah, it's all seems very fitting. I mean, I went to a very fancy Chinese wedding in the Philippines. They're Chinese, but they grew up in the Philippines, or, well, her husband. I met her here in Los Angeles. But so we flew out there, and it was probably at least 300-person wedding.
Oh my god.
There was at least 20 people in the wedding party, including myself, and we all had different jobs to do. This long ceremony. It was so long. And then it was a party, and it was huge, beautiful. I think it was at the peninsula in the Philippines.
Wow.
So it was like, I mean, these people they got some money.
Fancy
so then
pants.
the wedding party, which included myself and my friends, 20 of us, they flew us
Oh wow.
to Boracay, which is an island off the Philippines.
Wow.
We stayed there at least 4 to 5 days. I can't remember really. It was a long time ago. Gave us one of those little red envelopes with cash to spend. So we didn't pay for anything.
Wow.
And
that's
they
cool.
gave us spending money. It's so fitting because I was like, oh, this totally Like, this is the whole thing that they do.
I do want to say I had a strong desire to make pot stickers again after this movie.
We should have had a pot sticker
I know.
class. We should have been eating pot stickers, not martinis.
No, because the mics don't like when we eat food. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's gross.
I don't really
There were
like
It's not
two.
that kind of podcast.
There were two elements of the film that not bothered me, but like I would, if I could go back and change it, I would.
Oh.
So I felt that the scene where she's
How
like,
dare
I know,
you.
right? I felt
You crapping on this movie?
it's so perfect that it was like it's hard to find things that I didn't like. But one of them, it started to feel a little too long for me. The part where she's like weeping in the bedroom where she's back at the friend's house.
yeah.
I was ready for it to like get to something else, and the mom comes.
But
and,
then
like,
when Aquafina's brother's like,
and it, totally funny. And then I was kind of like distracted, and even as I think about it now, it's still distracting to me. Where he talks about on the plane, he's like, "I always had this vision when I proposed to you, what it would look like in the sunset or whatever." And it's like he proposed to her like 10 minutes earlier,
Right,
And she
and
rejected
didn't
him.
do that.
And didn't do that either. And it's like, are we supposed to forget that he already proposed to her? It just felt like a
an interesting
weird
point.
continuity issue.
yeah, that's true.
That didn't bother me. While we're on the subject of planes, who here thought they did it in the plane in first class when they flew out there?
Oh,
Well,
that's
obviously.
a given.
I was
Okay,
also really bothered by the fact that like you can't legally get off a plane once you're on it. So did you guys know that?
Yes, I know that.
Yeah,
So-
you have to pay like $30,000.
No, you
to get
can't
off.
pay. I don't
$50,000.
think.
Yeah, it's a fine.
You get a fine.
Oh, I thought you literally couldn't get off.
Fine.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a fine.
Okay.
It's a federal fine.
Well, I guess
Yeah.
if they got money, it's no big
Yeah.
deal. I just thought like you literally they wouldn't let you off for purposes of like if you had a bomb on your bag.
Yeah,
you
but also
couldn't.
you're the Young family, so they're
Yeah, I'm
really
sure
like,
they probably own the airline.
yeah,
Touche.
yeah.
But back to my point of that first class cabin they had. I was like,
They
better
were in a
be-
bed. Of course they
I was
did.
they
like,
had,
they better be
The
banging.
little mini
Who
orchids next
gets-
to the. I loved
I was
it.
like, who gets this opportunity to fly this way? Like, that is the simplest way of becoming a part of the Mile High Club. Everybody else got to do it in this tiny fucking bathroom.
You got to do it in the bathroom. The bathroom gets you
disgusting
in the
bathroom.
club. It's disgusting. I will never do it.
I don't know that
Oh,
it's...
Lena, come on. Let's be honest.
I don't like airplanes in general.
Oh, I love airplanes.
No, I love airplanes. I don't like the germ
Oh, I have so much
aspect.
anxiety around flying. There's no way.
I can't.
So if you were in
can't.
that bedroom, in that little pod that is your own personal
But if you're in
room...
a bedroom pod with blankets
But
in a
I'm
bed,
sorry,
like,
I'm
it's
not
very
going to
different.
put
It's not
those
a thing.
pajamas on. It's not happening. Like
You're not putting any clothes on.
I'm
If
wearing,
you're taking clothes
I'm
off?
wearing my safety clothes and using my own blanket. I
Oh, if the
can't.
plane's going
Never
down,
put those
it's fine.
pajamas on?
No, somebody else has worn those pajamas.
Oh my God.
Lena, I'm
don't
sure
know
that for
who
these
those-
first class passengers, they've washed the
I
pajamas.
don't care.
Okay.
I'm not putting on someone else's pajamas who may or may not have banged in
They
them.
probably did.
How do you know that they weren't their pajamas?
No, they're matching pajamas
They're
that match the uniforms
The
that the
airline?
stewardess wearing.
The stewardess?
It's flight attendant.
Stewardess.
Flight attendant.
Flight attendants is what they like to be
I'm
called.
sorry, flight attendant.
My mom was a flight attendant. I just like I
I
know
always
that you're
wanted to be a
supposed
flight
call,
attendant.
I know that you're supposed to call them that. My mom used to get really pissed when people
Really?
yeah.
Oh, sorry, I did not mean stewardess. We'll
And they
cut
get
that
called
out.
waitress a lot too,
What?
which is like really insulting.
Who
That is
calls them
fucking
waitress?
rude.
I know.
No.
Waitress and stewardess, I think, are like synonymous. So like they're both.
Oh,
like,
then
really
I
bad
apologize
words.
because I would never
So
call them a waitress.
Just well, no, I know you didn't intention to, but like
I
I
know.
just saying in the future, like flight attendant.
Flight
is
attendant.
preferred.
God.
It's also gender neutral, so
I got it. Got it.
2019, Lena. Come on.
But steward,
No, it's like a captain of a ship or something.
no,
isn't
it's
it?
not. It's the steward. You have the captain, and you have a chef, and you have a steward,
Okay.
like on a yacht.
I don't know these
I'm
things.
just saying. It's true.
I'm not fancy pants.
All right, Natalie, do you want to give us the recap of what our show is, Martini Scale?
Sure. So we like to rate our movies on kind of a reverse star system. So typically a great movie of cinematic history, maybe, would be like a 5-star movie. And in our rating, that would be a 1 martini movie. That's where we start our scale at. And that's because we love that movie and you can really watch it sober. You don't even need martinis, but in our lives, at least 1 martini is a thing that's where our baseline, that's where we start. So 2 martinis, movie's not bad. 3 martinis, it's enjoyable, but booze is absolutely required. 4 martinis, you kind of start losing count. You really don't know how many martinis you've had or what the movie is
What
that
movie
you're watching.
you're watching.
You don't really know. 5 martinis. It is like these martinis need to be bottomless. They need to constantly be filled up for you to sit through this whole movie. So that is our Martini scale.
And on that note, what was your rating for this particular film?
For this particular film, it was a 1 martini. I feel like this is my first one martini I've given so far.
Oh.
Wait, Call Me By Your Name, I think, was one.
No, Oh, yeah, I think that was a 1 martini. That was a 1
Otherwise,
martini.
we would continue this show.
All of
a
us,
1 martini.
the one.
Yeah. Okay, fine. That didn't make this as special. I wanted it to be more special, but that's fine. This is a 1 martini.
It's still special.
I'd watch it
But
sober.
both movies start with a C. Does that help you?
No, that doesn't. I'd watch it sober. Obviously, I love having a martini, at the start of any movie. And I don't need to refill my glass while I'm watching it because you're so entertained and enjoying it.
Though, let's be honest, you probably will.
I mean, it's me. I'm going to drink martinis anyways.
Lena, how about you?
I'm also 1 martini. I loved this movie. I didn't want to love the movie, but you can't help but love the movie.
It's because you don't like romance.
No.
You're jaded.
I got a little other bit of issues with things, but it's
another podcast.
It's a whole other thing. But I really, really, really enjoyed it. I thought that they did a really good job, and I've already seen it 3 times. So clearly I love this movie, and I don't need any martinis to watch it. But I do want to have a martini, 1 martini watching it, because it just makes it really
it's the
fun.
experience.
Yeah, really
I agree.
fun.
I think for me, I gauge it by whether or not I would want to watch it again.
Mm-hmm.
And this absolutely is a film that I will watch again. In fact, I'm probably going to go watch it again tonight because I love it so much. So yeah, it's 1 martini for me as well.
Yay.
So
It's exciting. I feel like,
That's the first
other
thing
than
we've
maybe
agreed on.
Call Me By Your Name,
that
we haven't
doesn't
all
even count
agreed.
actually, because it's like if you don't like that movie, something's wrong with you. So
Call Me By Your Name.
Yeah, if you don't
I mean,
love that movie.
I get why. I mean, we talked about this already, but I get why people may
Are we
or
going to
may
bring
not
that
like
movie
that.
up in every episode?
We probably are. Is that going to be so annoying? I just love it so much.
My wish for our podcast, I'm just going to put this on the record, is that we could go back and do that episode over again, because I don't think that we did it justice. I think it lives in its own little world and it's cute and whatever. But
there's no reason why we can't do a part 2 of continued conversation.
We might, but I'm just saying that the first version of that we did, I think we've learned a lot about podcasting in general.
Yeah,
since
I think
then.
we were so excited to do it.
Are we professionals now?
And we of course we are. And so I think that we've learned so much, and we are professionals now. And so it feels weird to go back and listen to that episode all these years later.
And we're never go back and listen to it.
I know.
Why would you do that?
Because
we're
I
going
love
to talk
the film.
about it every
We're gonna talk
episode.
about it.
So
We don't need
We're
to
gonna
go
get
back.
it out.
We'll just say it every single time.
Fair. All right. Well, as always, we want to thank you for listening. For more information, please be sure to visit themartiniscale.com, where you can find links to all of our social channels, in addition to show notes and everything you ever wanted to know about the show. And if you haven't already, please head over to Apple Podcasts and rate and review us. It helps others discover the show. We'll see you next time. Cheers.
Cheers, guys. Watch Crazy Rich Asians. 1 martini. Bye.
Money, money.